So now that we've talked about James Dillon's Todesengal a little bit, and we've talked about the process of working with a duet partner and the skills that are important for that, I'd like to take a moment and again step back and talk about some non-musical skills that are very important for young students, young musicians, and young performing artists. Communication skills, interpersonal skills, organizational skills. Whereas these things don't necessarily have anything to do with the relationship you have with your instrument, these things are extremely important for teachers, performers, students, all the above. Organizational skills, time management skills are incredibly important. And if you're a teacher, it's incredibly important to talk to your students about this and find ways to develop strategies for time management. What time are you setting up for a rehearsal? What time do you have to get the equipment ready and double check it? What time are you meeting with your other musicians? If you're a teacher, how much time are you spending on each one of the things in your lesson plans? How are you spending your classroom time? When are you going to make the call back to the sound guy? All these things are very important. Planning your practice time or preparation time if you're a teacher or a conductor is extremely important. And as time goes by and your schedule gets more complicated, having an interval system for your practice routine or preparation routine can be very valuable. Communication skills are incredibly important, especially for what we do as artists and musicians. The ability to be concise and professional in your emails is of tremendous importance. It's almost an art form, writing a good email with a good tone and making sure you're communicating what you want to say and what needs to happen in a very organized manner. Furthermore, it's important to be savvy to all kinds of electronic communication. Like, for example, Dropbox. I didn't know what Dropbox was until someone sent me a couple files that they wanted me to learn for a performance in a couple days, and I had to figure out what that was. So, for example, make sure you're on top of your basic understanding of music technology as well, even if you're an instrumentalist who spends most of your time practicing. Interpersonal skills. Again, because what we do is an art form, it involves expression in the communication of messages. Interpersonal skills are of utmost importance in productivity in this way. Conversational skills with the people you're working with. Are you looking them right in the eye? Be conscious of your body language and how this affects you working together with your colleagues and other musicians. If you're at a new gig or a new rehearsal or a conference or a teaching situation, make it a point to shake hands, meet, and engage in conversation with all the others involved in the project. Affirm to them that you were there to help meet a common goal through teamwork. Try to be proactive in letting the other musicians you play with and the other colleagues you work with know that you appreciate their abilities and admire abilities that they have that are positive. If you're at a new rehearsal or a new gig, despite being very prepared before arriving, furthermore, let them know you're available for any extra help that may come up. Be positive, be proactive, be enthusiastic, be receptive, and most importantly, be flexible. Develop the ability to take constructive criticism, whether you're a teacher or a performer. This will really strengthen the teamwork process that happens when you work with other musicians, and will also fortify the fact that you respect one another. So learn to take ideas and suggestions not offensively, but in pursuit of the art form of what you're doing, performing or teaching or developing an interpretation or making a recording. I'd like to encourage future teachers to take some of these concepts that I've talked about and develop your own ways of implementing it into your lessons and into your curriculum in a systematic way. So with that said, I've provided some examples. Have your students come up with a rehearsal plan for a chamber music performance that's coming up, or a sectional. Make sure that they take care of the correspondence through email or through personal communication. Make sure that they spend time understanding everybody's schedules and the logistics of the rehearsals, all the equipment that's needed, how many music stands are needed, all that stuff. Try to make it a point to stress to them that the development of those skills is just as important as developing technique or how to play the piece correctly. Encourage students to get together for sectionals in some of your large ensemble pieces or your percussion ensemble pieces without a conductor or a director. And try to encourage them to develop the skills to discuss with one another things that need to improve or things they'd like to do again, or finding ways to provide constructive criticism to one another. This will be a very valuable skill that they need to develop. It's just as important as playing the piece correctly or choosing the right mallets. Making these skills more of a priority in the curriculum and in your overall attitude of teaching will further encourage an artistic and interactive atmosphere, especially in academic settings, as well as break down some of the barriers to music making that come from relationships that sometimes can be too imposed as power positions. A general sense of mutual respect, empathy, and equality between students of all levels, teachers, and performing artists should be the goal.